Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer. I have to tell you, I have an imaginary girlfriend.
I think you can do better.
Do you really think so?
I was talking to your girlfriend.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at that old wallpaper from AEG. We'll get back to the review in just a moment. I want to take a minute to ask you to check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson PhD, where we talk about history, books on history, military history. I even post some of my lectures for my classes on there. Please check that out. Please subscribe to that channel. And now, back to the review. In that old wallpaper from AEG, 2 to 5 players are going to try to remember Grandma's old wallpaper, and they're going to do it through a unique card system. Each player is going to receive a deck of cards in their color, numbering 1 to 10. They'll also receive a perfect recall token. Now, these perfect recall tokens are going to be lined up with kind of one at the front, one at the end, randomly at the beginning of the game. Then you're also going to have a deck of wallpaper cards. You're going to have a deck of hazy memory cards. Now, every round, players are going to go ahead and draw a number of wallpaper cards that correspond to the number of players. They're going to go ahead and place them face up so everyone can see it. Then what players are going to do, they're going to draw 3 cards of their own, their number cards from their deck. Now, they're going to pick one of those cards to play. They put it face down. Players simultaneously reveal their cards. Then they're going to place their cards in order underneath the specific cards that they have chosen, that they correspond to, rather. So the lowest numbered card will go in the first place, the next lowest card in the second, etc., etc., etc. Then players are going to claim those respective cards and place it on their wallpaper tableau. Now, if ever 2 players pick the same number, they bump. Now, what that means is, if they bump, then the player who comes first in the perfect recall order, they will be able to pick whatever card it happens to be there in their wallpaper. They can go ahead and place that in their wallpaper tableau. But the person who did not get to bump, they will take a hazy memory card that they will place at the end of the game. The player that won the bump, they will actually then go, their perfect recall token will go to the back of the perfect recall lineup. Now, as people are placing their wallpaper cards, they're trying to match pairs. They're trying to match up as many pairs and get them to match as many sides as they can as they're putting more and more of them down there. There will also be several different special shapes that come out over the course of the game from the wallpaper deck. Whenever a card comes out of the deck with a red oval, you actually place another card on that same level, at that same position, so that if the player wins that section, they actually take both of those cards. There are a number of purple shapes as well that are going to kind of give you things for scoring if you have the most of those. Now, players play through a round until they can no longer draw 3 cards, at which point you kind of reset everything and you play a second round. You go through that, and again, same thing until you get to the 3rd round. You play through the 3rd round, and then at the end of the 3rd round, you go ahead and move to scoring. Now, in a nutshell, scoring is your scoring pairs. You score 2 points for every pair of big and little shapes that you have on your in your tableau. Everyone that is paired is going to score you 2 points. Depending on how many of the purple shapes that you have, you will score additional points for those. Now, the player who has the most red ovals in their tableau, they will lose 2 points, and the player who has the least, they will gain 2 points. The person whose perfect recall token is in the first position will also score 2 points. Now, players, as I say, there will be the hazy memory cards. They have a wild side. You can go ahead and connect those to other spots on the board to try to make them into pairs. However, you cannot connect a wild side with another wild side. Now, once the completed shapes are done, there's a bit of multiplication. You go ahead, you add all that together, and whoever has the most points wins. That Old Wallpaper. So that Old Wallpaper, first of all, it's one of those games that you really, just to look at it, it doesn't look like there's that much to it. And yet there is a lot of strategy in how you try to essentially bid for the cards. Do you want to get a low card? Do you want to get a high card? Which card do you think you want, and what card can I play that I think might get it for me? Now, you don't know what everybody else is playing. You don't know if you're going to bump, or you don't know if you're going to end up getting a card you do not want. So there's some kind of interesting choices you have to make about how you're going to play your cards in order to get that to work. We really got into it. We really enjoyed it. We were really having fun with the game. But there's a little line in the book about scoring that was a little counterintuitive, that kind of threw us off, having to do with kind of multiplying some of the numbers. And it just, we're trying to wrap our heads around it, and it wasn't particularly well worded. And we ended up figuring it out. But it just, like I say, it wasn't particularly intuitive, and it was frankly kind of weird, and it seemed like it almost seemed like it was trying to make scoring a little more complicated than it was. We didn't really understand what the idea was for this part of the scoring. Well, we got around it, and generally we liked the game. Generally we had fun with the game, but that scoring thing just kind of threw us off a little bit. It just seemed, like I say, it was a little unnecessarily fiddly, so we weren't terribly big fans of that. On the whole, I like this game. I'll play it again. I'll probably hang on to it, and I think it's fun. I may make sure I get that rule down straight before I play again with other people, or I may just disregard the rule and we just go for straight pairs. I don't know. I'll look into it again. But there's enough here that I enjoyed it, and it's quick enough, and it's fun enough, and it's silly enough. This idea of trying to recreate, grandma's old wallpaper and the way you're doing it. It was fun, but it's mean too. That's one thing. It's mean. So we all really enjoyed it on that level. Because of the caveat, I'm going to say try it before you buy it. I think there's enough here that you may get through it okay. Like I say, just know the scoring's a little fiddly. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We'd ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. I'd also ask you, ladies and gentlemen, please check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson PhD, where we talk about military history and books on history, fun things like that. Please check it out. Please subscribe. We really appreciate that as well. Ladies and gentlemen, not too many people know this, but while they were trying to take down the Death Star shield generator, Luke politely asked Han not to be so loud, to which Han replied, "Okay, I'll use my Endor voice." Please somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band. Shakespeare, you devil.